Sin Fronteras, Western New York, Buffalo's media platform for Western New York Hispanics.
Producing bicultural content that informs, entertains, and inspires the forward thinking.
Sin Fronteras, Western New York, delivering bilingual stories,
hot topic conversations,
and the voices from our Latino community.
Sin Fronteras, Western New York.
La única producción contemporánea en español
y en inglés en la ciudad de Buffalo. Sin Fronteras, Western New York.
Your connection to cultural ties in Latin America
and hyperlocal news in the Western New York area.
Sin Fronteras, Western New York es para ti.
Bienvenidos. Hello once again to Sin Fronteras, Western New York. It's the usual, well, somewhat usual proceedings here on Saturday, 10 a.m. This is what we do here at Radio Bilingüe. And again, I am unfortunately not joined by my normal co-host, my colleague, Samantha Latshaw. She's still got some personal matters that she's tending to. We miss you, Samantha. We will wait your return eagerly soon enough. But if you have been listening to us now for the last few weeks, hopefully we got some new listeners too. But you also heard the intro right off the bat. And there's three voices there. It's myself, Samantha, and then there's another gentleman there that people I'm sure have been like, who is that other person? I have yet to hear them on Sin Fronteras. Well, I've said I'm Lorenzo Rodriguez, and now I get to say I'm joined by another Rodriguez.
Casimiro Rodríguez.
Casimiro Rodríguez. No relation, as we usually say.
No relation.
No relation. Probably somewhere down the line.
There's a lot of Rodriguez.
You go far enough down, like we're probably sons of some Spanish
the coat of arms.
Or
the coat of arms.
Yeah, we're somewhere. We got the son of Rodrigo. Some Rodrigo. Kaz, you are, as you're affectionately known as, people know Kaz more than they know Casimiro, I'd say, right?
Yes, they do.
This is a special instance for us because we've been doing now 4 of these shows, or this would be their 4th one, and this show I would have to say wouldn't happen because of a lot of people, but one in particular is this gentleman right here, right next to me. Kaz, you, for those that are unaware, you are a rather prominent member of the Hispanic community out here. I'll say that. Whether or not you'll agree to it, I'll say it. When I came to Western New York, you were probably the first person that welcomed me. I think you thought, este es mi primo or something, Lorenzo Rodríguez, ese primo mío. And no, you were very kind since the first day that I got here. You heard about me, and I've been nothing but appreciative of the friendship, the relationship that we've had, and the projects that you and I have talked about and tried to get off the ground. One of them being this right here.
Reality.
This was we mentioned it on our first episode, Samantha and I couldn't do this also without Samantha because Samantha was one of the ones spearheading the first iteration of Sin Fronteras, Western New York, when it was back on, and we'll say it, our colleagues across the way, WFO.
That's right.
We wanted, though, we being you and I talked about this when I went into the private sector out of media. That itch is very strong. The creative itch, you want to still keep making things. You still want to keep putting together content for the masses. The passion on my end was to not only just keep creating, but also provide a service. And I think that's where you and I both said, yes, this is something that's very much needed here. We've said it already numerous times on this program, but what we're trying to aim for here is a platform for us Hispanos of Buffalo, of Western New York, of Southern Ontario, of the area that we don't have that. We don't have that.
You're right. And thanks to Buffalo Toronto Public Media, we're able to do that, to have a platform.
Our other colleagues that we couldn't have done this without. The
right.
great Bill Sauer.
That's right. Bill Sauer.
I don't think we've said his name yet, and that he's right up there.
He's been an integral part of this vision.
Yes.
For the Latino community here in the city of Buffalo, along with our president and CEO, Tom Calderon. And the entire board of directors, Buffalo Toronto Public Media. Couldn't do it without them.
Now, this is something that, to kind of go into the genesis of this all, I like going into the origin stories of people and places and history of things. But this was originally going to be a podcast. I came to you and I go, hey, you want to do a podcast? And then the snowball effect, it started steamrolling, and we had conversations. And then Bill Sauer came out of nowhere and said, hey, I like this. We need to make this a bigger thing.
You're right.
And that's what we have now. That's what we're hopefully building upon, is this Radio Bilingüe model. And at the end of it all, what we want to do here, what we want to accomplish, is have just an open mic for people that have important messages to give to the community out here in Western New York. Kaz, what you've been around radio. I think we both are big proponents of radio. We still believe in it. Whilst the numbers might say otherwise, we still think that radio in general is a very unique thing. It's a intimate conversation with the listener, as opposed to television being an audience. So I always say welcome to the audience, but it's usually one person listening on the radio. What drew you to radio, and why this project?
Well, Lorenzo, first and foremost, I got to thank you, and thank you for stepping up. Okay, when we were talking about radio, okay, and I saw what you have done with your trajectory and your profession, not only here in the city of Buffalo, but also where you came from, Miami. I said,
don't say that too loud. It's almost football season.
I said, this guy is something that we need in our community. And I'm glad that we were able to partner, okay, the Hispanic Heritage Council and you, along with the support and help, again, I can't mention it enough, Buffalo Toronto Public Media, to be able to, and you said a voice, but I say a voice for our Hispanic Latino community here in Western New York. This is an idea that I brought to the management here at the station some years ago, okay, regarding that, our Latino community, our Hispanic community here in Western New York and Buffalo, we're 45,000. In Western New York, we're 75,000. And we did not have a platform, okay? We did not have the means of communicating, educating, and informing our community. And this is an idea that the management here at the Tom Calderons and the Bill Sauers took to heart. And this has been in the works for a little bit, and it finally at our annual Hispanic Heritage breakfast, it was announced that this partnership was going to take off, and here we are today, broadcasting right from the studios of WBFO 88.7, HD3, okay, our Sin Fronteras platform, our radio platform here locally, which we got to be very proud of.
You've always said that you appreciate radio, but you sound like a radio man. You just dropped the call sign, the station identifier. Like you said all the right things. You flattered your host, and I appreciate that. It's great that we're seeing this thing come to fruition little by little. As I always tell Cass, sometimes baby steps.
Baby steps,
because we want to fly. We have very grandiose dreams and visions. I have here. I was going to introduce you as a visionary. You have a vision, and you aim for it and you go for it. But we're working in baby steps. We have, thankfully, the great programming that's all around Sin Fronteras Western New York, which is Radio Bilingüe, out of the southwestern region of the United States, doing some great programming.
The West Coast. We are hoping to add to that and add to that local flavor. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves too much. Part of what we are going to do on today's episode, we want to make Sin Fronteras also, you come to see the first few episodes have a news segment, have a little bochinche. We might get a bochinche at the end of this one. We'll see. But then we had a full episode with Ed Negron talking about the very important realities of real estate, of purchasing your first home, the hurdles that first-time Latino homeowners don't know. A lot of the information that you don't know what you don't know. And we're hoping to bring that information and that culture and just places for people to present ideas and discussions that are necessary that we haven't been having. So with that said, one of those conversations, one of those projects that we want to get, Kaz, you said it since day one. Yes, we got Sin Fronteras, but you want your own baby. You want your own vessel.
And we want to use Sin Fronteras as a training ground, as a farm system is what I once referred to it as in the baseball sense, to feature some of those shows. We've been working on one for you.
That's right.
You want to set it up?
Well, it's La Voz del Pueblo.
I like that. I like that name.
And we have a segment coming up right after our conversation here. But let me say something here. And you had mentioned that always had a passion. I've always had a passion. You have a passion for radio, okay? And someday you're gonna make it to my house, okay? I've invited you sometimes, and you haven't made it there yet. But someday you're gonna make it to my home, and if you go to the cellar. Okay, I have a radio studio down in my cellar.
You've told me about this.
I've had a radio studio down in my cellar, in a room, and if you look in the backyard, you'll see a big dish, because back in the 1980s, when I used to have a radio program here in the city of Buffalo, okay, I used to transmit feeds from Puerto Rico through my home, because I had the dish there. I used to bring this is before
broadband or internet or DSL
yeah, that's right.
Any of the
so we had to bring the feed from a dish. So I had a dish in the backyard. I never took it down.
If there was a storm, you were pretty much up.
It's still back
the creek.
there. So I used to bring the radio station. And it was a Christian radio station. Okay, as a matter of fact, the name of it is Radio Revelación, 88.1 FM.
Are they still around?
Oh, yes, they are around. And today it's called Radio Inspira. But I used to bring that feed right into my home through the airwaves and shoot it out to the radio station in Grand Island. And
I've heard of that place before.
It was 40 hours. It was 40 hours a week that we used to do this. Okay, sometimes I used to make it to the station in Grand Island. It was WHLD back then. But, sometimes because of the weather, couldn't make it out there. Mm-hmm. But I used to transmit right from my own home. and here you...
For 5 blocks.
That's right. Here you have the 8-track. The 8-track commercials and what have you.
God, you're going back to the 8-track days.
I still have the whole setup.
The hamburger reels.
That's right. The reel-to-reels.
Maybe
tape decks.
Maybe what we have to do is do an old school Sin Fronteras episode from the cellar. I have a man cave. You have a cellar.
And I have the equipment. I have the equipment set up and everything. All we got to do is power it up.
Are the mics?
I got the microphones right there, and we're ready to transmit right from my own home. But that was the passion.
Yeah,
that was the passion back then, and that's the passion today. As you know, Lorenzo, we're building the first and upstate Hispanic Heritage Culture Institute, and one of the placeholders within the institute on the second floor is a media center for radio and TV production. Okay, so leading to that, we're here today. Thanks to Buffalo Toronto Public Media, we've launched Sin Fronteras here locally, and we're getting ready. We're getting ready for live broadcast right from the Hispanic Heritage Cultural Institute someday.
What I love about Kaz is that there's always a blueprint. There's always
got to be.
You have to have one, and I feel like this has been a blueprint, part of the blueprint, just to get to La Voz del Pueblo. But no, I kid. We're gonna have a listen to your very first guest.
My first guest is Crystal Selk. She's the executive director.
A powerhouse.
A powerhouse in the west side of Buffalo. Crystal Selk is the executive director of West Side Community Services. Let me tell you, Lorenzo, the platform or the program, La Voz del Pueblo, will be a program within the Sin Fronteras umbrella, which we're going to bring community leaders from the private, public, non-for-profit, government, education, health, legal.
This is a Hispanic station, but we want to also open the door to our allies and
our partners.
Yep.
And our partners, arts and culture. We want to bring folks that are doing great things to be able so that our city of Buffalo thrives. Bring them in and talk to them and give them the platform where they can share with the community at large through digitized broadcasts the great things they're doing in the city of Buffalo, the city of good neighbors.
Great intro. Let's hear the first rendition of La Voz del Pueblo with Casimiro Rodríguez and Crystal Selk.
Well, I'd like to welcome all our listeners to the radio program Sin Fronteras, Western New York, with a special segment today, La Voz del Pueblo. This is Casimiro Rodríguez, and today we have a special guest with us, Crystal Selk. She's the Executive Director of Westside Community Services. Hello, Crystal.
Hi, Kaz. Thanks so much for having me today.
Great to see you, Crystal. And I know Westside Community Service does wonderful things in West Buffalo, the west side of Buffalo. And I'm reading a little bit about you in the last several days, and it tells me that you are a nonprofit leader for the last 15 years. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I've been around for a while, 15 years, I guess. I started out my career in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as a school guidance counselor. About 10 years ago, my husband and I moved back to the area to start our family. We've got twin girls. They're going to be 8 on Friday, actually. And so when I moved back to Buffalo, I got really involved in the nonprofit community, first as a grant writer, then in fundraising and development, and now I'm leading this awesome organization at Westside Community Services.
So, Crystal, you're originally from Buffalo, New York?
I came here for school. I'm originally from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. That's not too far from
Nope.
Buffalo. Tell us a little bit about Westside Community Services.
Well, we do a little bit of everything. Westside Community Services is almost 50 years old. We've been an anchor in the community for a very, very long time. We offer programming for people of all ages. We have lots of youth programming. We have older adult programming. And we operate Provisions 139, our market-style food pantry on Niagara Street.
Okay. And I also heard about Good for the Neighborhood programming. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we were, I believe, one of the first sites that Independent Health Foundation offered Good for the Neighborhood. We've been partnering with the Independent Health Foundation for several years now. We offer Good for the Neighborhood 3 times a year. And it focuses on health screenings, making sure people are staying healthy and fit. But then we also do other resource promotion during the event. So we do backpack giveaways, we do recipe cards and produce giveaways. There's always lots of stuff to do during Good for the Neighborhood.
Health screening as well?
Correct, yes. So diabetes, blood pressure, all sorts of flu shots are coming up in October. I believe October 3rd is our next Good for the Neighborhood. So if you haven't gotten your flu shot by October 3rd, come over to the Westside Community Services.
I may take you up on that.
Yes, do it.
Provisions 139. Tell us a little bit about that.
Provisions started 3 months after I came to Westside. I've been at Westside for 3 years now. So I inherited a blank storefront on the corner of Vermont and Fargo, and worked with the board, worked with community leaders, and had a market-style food pantry installed in that location within my first couple of months. That first year, we were serving about 500 people every month. Families can come and shop twice a month so that they can get the food, the produce, the meat and dairy that they need to help supplement their other groceries. Last year, when our demand was outpacing what we could do at our food pantry, we moved down to Niagara Street. So our address now is 44 Breckenridge. We're right near Rich Products. And we have a huge location now where we can serve 1,500 people a month. We also have funding through the state, so we're buying produce, meat, dairy, eggs directly from farmers right in Western New York, which is a really great way to support the agricultural community, but then also to support our Westside community.
Very interesting. And because of your geographic location, what are the families that you serve? What backgrounds? What ethnicities?
We see everybody. So we see our Hispanic neighbors, but we also see a lot of the refugee and immigrant population. We have a lot of Muslim customers who, when we can, we get halal meat so that they have access to that. We have a lot of Asian customers. One of our customers customers last year was commenting on how exciting it was that she saw we had plums one week, plums that she had to go to New York City to find because she can't find them outside of New York. So we are able to supply what our customers need and want.
And I'm sure when, when these customers, these clients come in for food and what have you, they also, come from different backgrounds and different socio and economic status. What's some of the pressing issues that you see with these families that come?
We see a lot of different needs within the community, and what we know for sure is that food insecurity is a symptom. It's not a cause. So a lot of our folks will come in, and when we have the capacity within our group of volunteers, we'll do some informal screening, asking people, what else is it that you need outside of food? Sometimes it's mental health resources, sometimes it's childcare, sometimes it's workforce, trying to find a job. We see it all. So we're here to help. And as we build capacity, we really want to be able to help people address those needs so that they don't need us so much in the food pantry.
So that staff that manages the food pantry is part of your daily staff?
So we have one full-time pantry manager.
Okay.
He is there every single day at the pantry with our incredible volunteers. We've got about 30 or so volunteers who give their time generously every single week to make sure that our pantry customers are well cared for and receive the food that they need.
That's great. It's and I know the West Side pretty good, and I know there's a big, large Hispanic population in the west side of Buffalo. And with Hispanic Heritage Month coming up now in September 15th, what are some of the activities that the West Side Community Services is getting involved with?
So we've got a lot of things coming up with our older adult program. I know it's a little bit before Hispanic Heritage Month, but we're proudly marching this weekend in the Hispanic and Puerto Rican Day Parade. So we're very excited about that. We'll be our senior director for our older adult program. We'll be offering different cultural activities throughout the month. I know she has some different artists lined up and some different art and culture and dance and food. Well, I'm sure food will be part of the celebration. And then with our after school program, we'll do some different cultural activities and some art projects with our kids as well.
Beautiful. And who is that?
So our older adult program director is Aileen Gonzalez-Marti. She is, I think, pretty well known in the community.
Very well known. I know Aileen.
She's amazing. We are so happy and really lucky to have her in our program. Since she started in January, she's doubled the amount of older adults who are enrolled in our program.
And she goes in the community and just drafts them.
She does. She really has a gift to just bring people in and want to be around her. So we get new registrations every week, and everybody just keeps coming back to hang out with Aileen.
That's beautiful. Aileen is very well known in the community. As a matter of fact, her profession is she's an artist.
She is.
And she was the one that designed the arches, the Avenida San Juan arches on the Niagara Street corridor in the Hispanic Heritage District. So she's very well known in the city of Buffalo and in our community, and we're very proud of all the work that she does.
Me too. She's awesome.
That's great. What are some more of the events that you have planned for this summer?
Well, next Wednesday, we have Rock the Block, which is our 4th annual community block party. It will be held right at our community center at 161 Vermont Street. We actually closed down the front of Vermont Street so that we can get out into the street and just have a great time. The first year we offered Rock the Block, it was smaller. We didn't need the full street, but now we almost need to close down West or Fargo next year too.
How did you come up with that name, Rock the Block?
We just wanted to have something that was catchy, but also something that demonstrated that this is just a fun party. It's a fun way to close out summer. It's a fun way to honor and acknowledge all of our neighbors and to make sure that our kids just get that last minute of fun before school starts again.
That's great. You said neighbors. Many of the the folks that attend Rock the Block? Are they local? They walk to the facility?
Yeah, there's a great combination of participants. So a lot of people, this event has grown because they can hear the music from our event and they can hear,
Everybody
children
comes out.
laughing and screaming. And so people will walk over from blocks away, right? But then people drive in too, because that's just, I think, the power of this event. It's such a fun evening for families.
And what are some of the activities that you have with the children?
We have so many things lined up for the kids. So we've got the Sabres are coming in with their street hockey.
The Buffalo Sabres. That's
yes.
great.
We've got a foam party, which was a big hit last year.
What is that, a foam party?
It's like like giant bubbles, like bubble bath. That just gets blown out into the yard.
Okay.
There was a mound of bubbles last summer that was maybe 10 feet high and just kids running around in it and having the best time. I thought that more things would be lost in it, but we only found one pair of sunglasses and one sandal, and that was it. So the kids had a blast. We also have a DJ. We've got Harley Quinn and Batman, the superheroes, coming.
Oh, my God.
We'll have arts and crafts, face painting, balloon art. And something fun this year that we're doing, we participated in Give 716 in July.
Yeah.
And with the donations that our donors gave, we are subsidizing the cost of ice cream, so $1 a Sunday for everybody.
Oh, my God.
And then we are also bringing in a build your own bouquet, a flower bouquet stand, so that everybody can go home with a little memento.
That's nice. Well, what are some of the partners that are collaborating with you for this event?
Yeah, so for the ice cream, we've got Lugia's, which
I've
makes
heard of them.
fantastic
Yes.
sundaes. Yes, we have Tiny Ty coming for to sell food, so she'll have her food truck there. We've got lots of different giveaways. So we've got a couple of bikes that the folks at the original Pizza Log company, will be raffling off.
Great.
Like I said, the Buffalo Sabres will be there. We're working with Stitch Buffalo and some other smaller nonprofits to make sure that the kids just can do whatever it is that they want to do.
Who's organizing all of this? Is this you, or do you have a staff member that's working on all
Oh gosh, I have the best team. We have we have an amazing group. Not only our staff, but also our board and our volunteers pull all of this together every summer. So Mary Schaefer, our director of operations, works with our development committee on our board to really pull in all of these partners, to coordinate all of the vendors, to get the permits from the city, because we have to, shut down the street. So it's really a months in the making, all hands on deck sort of thing. Even our youth staff will be there doing some arts and crafts activities for kids. So it really, I couldn't do any of this myself. It's got to be a team effort.
Boy, it sounds very exciting that, you have a team of folks that focuses and plans and connects with the broader community and the partners to be all engaged on that day. And you mentioned the kids, the children. What do you do with them at this event? Is there giveaways for them? With school coming up, I'm pretty sure there's backpacks.
Yeah, so we've given close to 1,000 backpacks out this summer through various partnerships. And the day before Rock the Block, we actually have WUFO will be hosting a backpack giveaway at our center from 3 to 5 p.m. Children need to be present to receive a backpack, but it's also an opportunity for our youth staff will be on hand also for after-school registration. So if people are interested in registering in our after-school program, they can get a backpack and they can register for the program.
After-school programs for the children as well. You got a seniors program. You got an after-schools program for the children. Tell us a little bit about those after-school programs.
The after-school program is a lot of fun. So our youth director, Marino Frias, is comes from downstate, but he brings so much knowledge and so much energy and enthusiasm to our program. He has a team, again, it's all a team effort, right? His after school team is an awesome group of people who love taking care of kids, making sure that they're getting what they need, getting their homework done to help parents out, right? But also having fun activities. So during the school year, our after school program takes place Monday through Friday, 2:30 to 6. We offer a meal when everybody gets there, so everybody gets a hot meal who participates. We do homework time, and then for the rest of the time, we do different rotations of fun. So some days it's arts and culture. Some days Neglia Ballet comes in and teaches a ballet class. Some days the kids are working on a music lesson with a local music instructor. So they get to do something different every day. I often hear kids, not wanting to go home because they're having so much fun.
What's the time span for the after-school program? It begins at what time, ends at what time?
It unofficially begins at 2:30, but it really begins whenever buses drop kids off at our program. Kids can be bused directly from their school right to our community center, and then pickup for parents is 6 p.m.
Oh, so that's great. That's a big convenience for the children to come right from school on their school bus, get dropped off, and then when the program ends in the evening, the parents come pick them up.
Exactly. And that we have kids from charter schools that do that and from Buffalo Public Schools.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, from what schools are the children?
So they're from all over. We have a lot of kids from the various charter schools around town, and then our local schools right near our neighborhood, School 30, 95, 76, all the schools where our kids live, and, it's a neighborhood effort, I think.
That's great. What's your staff like? You said, you have staff working on different activities and programs or whatever. How many employees do you have?
We have 13 employees now. It's a good mixture of full-time and part-time. And we really are committed to making sure that our staff can relate and work with our kids, with our older adults, with, our community. So our staff is really reflective of the community. We have several bilingual and multilingual staff members, and we have people who have grown up and lived on the West Side for their entire life. So it's a good mixture of people. It's a good community, right?
That's great. So you had mentioned, the schools that many of the children come from, charter schools as well. Do the charter schools bring their kids via the buses as well?
Yes, they do. Yeah. So we have charter school students who are bused directly to our site. But this year we also have an exciting new partnership with Primary Hall Charter School, which is on Main and Jewett, over by the Darwin Martin House. We are taking our show on the road. So we're opening an after-school site at their school so that kids who attend Primary Hall can go right to after-school program in their school, and parents can pick them up right from there.
How do these partnerships happen? Do you go to the school? Do you call the principal? How does this happen?
I think everything is based on trust. I think a lot of these partnerships happen because we have an initial outreach. We, start talking, or we work on a project together, and then we keep the relationships going. I know that, I can trust my staff, and I know that the staff can trust me, but also that we can trust our partners, and our partners can trust us.
So the West Side Community Services provide programs and services throughout the entire year.
Yes.
All 4 seasons.
All 4 seasons. Even when there are blizzards, we've worked through this past year with the city, because we are in a city-owned building, that we are a storm shelter. So people, if they lose power or they need a warm place to go, when was the last blizzard? In January? We opened as a warming shelter, so we were able to provide that service. So literally every season, we've got you covered.
That's great. And a cooling center as well?
Correct. Yep.
Is it? That's
Yep.
great.
Yeah.
That's great. How long has the West Side Community Service? I think you mentioned that earlier in the program.
Yes, we are almost 50 years old, so we're going to have to start thinking of a big celebration soon.
Okay. Do you have one every year? Some type of celebration that celebrates the amount of years that you've been providing services to the community?
We don't, but I think 50 is a pretty big milestone that we should really honor that.
You got to let us know about that one.
For sure.
That's great. Well, Crystal, very interesting. And Westside Community Services, we're very proud of all the work that you're doing there in the west side of Buffalo. And, it seems like you're very well engaged with the community, your partners, and all the families, that live around the Westside Community Services facility. And I know they've been in existence, like you said, close to 50 years. And we're very proud of that work that you're doing there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Substance abuse is very prevalent, not only on the west side of Buffalo, but throughout the entire city and county and country. Mm-hmm. What is Westside Community Services doing as it relates to substance abuse and teenagers?
Yeah, we've had a partnership with the New York State OASIS agency, as well as Erie County Office of Mental Health for many, many years, to be able to deliver substance use disorder prevention programming. So we offer our programs to our kids. We do evidence-based programming, so it's a curriculum that we deliver that focuses on helping kids develop pro-social behaviors and to develop social-emotional skills that when they're faced with situations where drugs or alcohol may be present, or bullying, or violence may be an issue, they know how to deal with it. So our programming starts with kids as young as kindergarten and goes all the way up through. We have programming for teens all the way through 12th grade. So not only do we deliver our services and those programs at our community center, we are also in a couple of BPS schools. So we're in School 30, and then we're also over at Da Vinci High School. So it's and this year we've received funding from Erie County to be able to offer a program called Teen Intervene in partnership with the Prevention Council. And so Teen Intervene is that next level of more intervention than prevention, right? It's for kids who are maybe headed down the wrong path. But we're able to now offer through the Prevention Council counseling and support for kids within our teen program, so that they're also surrounded by our teens who are really positive influences and can make better choices.
What is the program telling you when you engage yourself with these teens that, you're coaching them, you're mentoring them, you're educating them, you're helping them in prevention and whatever? What is the program telling you?
I feel so hopeful for the future. We are so fortunate to have such an accomplished and enthusiastic group of teens in our center, so that when we have Teen Intervene come in with kids who have maybe been involved in the juvenile justice system or who have been suspended from school, our teens can surround them with that positive role modeling, right, and be able to make friends and to give those other kids a community and a space where they can feel safe and feel supported and that they know that they don't need to make those choices.
That's great. And bullying is very prevalent as well in some of the schools. I'm not going to say all the schools, but in some of the schools. What is the center doing to relate to that?
So we really work with our younger kids on bullying. We work with our teens on bullying too, because it's everywhere, right? But we teach our kids good pro-social behaviors, making good choices, using positive language, taking a step back from a situation where things can get out of hand quickly. Really helping our kids and our teens to be aware of their surroundings and their reactions to their surroundings, so that they don't engage in that violence and the bullying.
Do you work with the school counselors or the school teachers, principals? Or
We do. Yeah, we're lucky that both of our schools that we're in have amazing administrators and support staff and teachers who really help and I think nurture the concepts that we're teaching and the ideas that we're teaching in the program.
Do you plan on expanding that program with other schools? What's the forecast, if you will? What do you see in the future?
Yeah, we may eventually expand. We're part of a prevention coalition organization. So there are several prevention organizations and agencies in Erie County that offer similar services to us. And so we're constantly talking to one another of who's offering which services and where, and are there partnerships, and how can we work together? That's how our collaboration with the Prevention Council happened. They had a need. They needed to be in front of more teens. We had teens that needed more services, and so that really just came together really organically.
Very interesting. Anything else you'd like to share with the audience and myself here, Crystal?
Yeah, well, the one thing that we didn't talk about was our teen program.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is actually, and I'm headed over to the center right after this interview. Our teens have been working all summer. So we also offer year-round programming for teens, 13 to 19. This summer, we've had Mayor's Summer Youth students, youth employees, come to our center to not only learn some job skills and to work on resume writing, but to build relationships with other teens, with our staff, with our partners. All sorts of fun activities have been going on. So tonight, the teens are doing a Shark Tank style pitch about what kind of programs they would like to host in the fall. So we really try to make our teen program for teens by teens, and really give them the control of what sort of programming would they like to see and what would be helpful for them as they prepare for life in high school and life after high school.
And these teams come right from the high schools?
They do, yeah. So a lot of our teens come from iPrep, McKinley, Hutch Tech, the whole area really. And so they come on during the school year, Tuesdays through Thursdays, 5 to 8:30 p.m. They play Dungeons and Dragons. They work on their computer skills with Mission Ignite and actually get computers at the end of their 6-week-long course. We have different arts groups come in and work with them. We offer evidence-based prevention programming to help kids make healthy choices when faced in situations where, drugs and alcohol might be present or other, sticky situations that teens face every day.
You mentioned computers. Who provides the computers?
We're working with Mission Ignite to offer a computer literacy course. So it's a 6-hour-long course, 1 hour a week, where our teens come in and have an opportunity to learn how to use the different Microsoft products and different software so that they can write their resume or write their papers for school. And when they finish the program, then they get to take the computers home with them.
Interesting. Do you connect with some of the area universities, colleges? Do you do anything with them?
Yeah, so we are super lucky that we're right. We almost share a backyard with DuVille University.
Yeah, you're right there.
Yes. So this summer we actually have been going over to their esports arena, and the teens have been learning all the different computer games and video game. Well, I think they already knew all of them, but they're competing against each other in this state-of-the-art facility, so it's pretty amazing. But outside of that, we usually have student interns from the different colleges come in. We have a social work intern starting in a couple of months from UB. And we've got some other interns who come and volunteer either at the food pantry or they tutor our younger kids. So really helping our college students to see what important work is going on the West Side too.
That's a real good connection there between the teens and college students and interns and what have you, because that gives the teenagers an opportunity to really talk about college life.
Exactly.
And it really inspires them to, go to college. Yeah,
and more often than I would have guessed, we have kids coming over from DuVille to visit, to say, hey, I came to, a program here when I was a kid, and now I just go over to DuVille for school. And I really think that is because it's right there, right, that they can engage and participate and meet people who who they can look up to and role models to say, college is for me too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the students that come from Duville or other colleges, these are community service projects where they can get credit for what they do and these services that they provide or help or mentor or coach.
Exactly. Yeah. So they get something out of it too, for sure. One of our interns last year still volunteers with us. She hasn't left. She still comes back, even though her service learning is over, her internship is over. She still comes back and volunteers with us. So I think it really says something about the power of our programs and the people that are around our center and at the food pantry.
And it says a lot about the leader. Well, we're very glad to have you, Crystal, on this program. This is one of our first programs here under the Sin Fronteras Western New York banner, La Voz del Pueblo. And that's, we like to invite, community leaders like yourself to come in and talk about, their programs, their centers, so that the community at large can really learn the good things that are happening in West Buffalo and in our community in the city of Buffalo. So we're very glad that you took the time to come and spend some time with us this morning.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I'm happy to come back or bring my other staff members to talk about their programs anytime.
We like to have Eileen come in here to talk about the senior program, because the senior programs are very important for our seniors. We can't find enough programs that really cater to our seniors and keep them mentally healthy and physically healthy, with arts and craft. And I'm pretty sure that Eileen does all that type of programming at your facility for them. The senior program, do you have it elsewhere as well? Because I think talking with Eileen, she had mentioned the Santa Maria Towers. What do you?
Yes. Yeah, so we were noticing that some of our seniors weren't able to come to our center. So instead of trying to force them to come over, we just went to them. And it works really well. We have about 30 seniors who come every day to Santa Maria Towers to participate in different programs. And the nice thing is that all of our older adult staff is bilingual. So everybody speaks English and everybody speaks Spanish. So to really be able to connect with our older adults, especially at Santa Maria Towers.
And I'm sure Eileen, she's bilingual and bicultural.
Yes.
And artistically, intelligent and inclined. So thank you very much, Crystal.
Thank you so much for this program. I think that it's important to be able to highlight all of the great things that are going on in our community. And especially in the West Buffalo community, I think it's great that you're shining a light on all of us. So thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for taking the time to be with us. This is Casimiro Rodríguez from La Voz del Pueblo on Sin Fronteras of Western New York. Thank you very much, Crystal.
Thank you.
Wow, Kaz, I think I gotta be careful. I think you're coming for my job. You're coming for Samantha, and I better be careful.
Well, I learned from the best.
Oh, you are a flatterer. You are a schmoozer. You're a flatterer, and that gets you everywhere with me. No, that was a fantastic interview with Crystal Selk. She's, like I said,
amazing,
a powerhouse. She's doing great things with Westside Community Services, doing important things for the community. People that really just, when we talk about inequity in the city, sometimes it's great to see organizations like that help provide a level playing field for everybody. That's all everyone wants, and they're doing that in droves. I don't think we mentioned how to get in contact with them. They're
at 161 Vermont Street. Okay, their phone number is 716-884-6616. Westside Community Services.
Website is wscsbuffalo.org. So
that's correct.
Well, Kaz, that's a snippet of La Voz del Pueblo. That's your baby. That's your brainchild. That's what you've been wanting to. Once again, I feel like this is all a secret ploy to get that up and running, but it's going to happen at some point. And we want to specify, we would like to stress, rather, that show, this show, we can't say it enough, doesn't happen without a lot of people behind the scenes.
You're right, Lorenzo. And, when we put together the Hispanic Heritage Council, when we thought about getting back into radio. We always need a strong team, and we need folks that have some background, in radio, media, podcasts, what have you. And that's exactly what we did. The skill sets that our board has, the Hispanic Heritage Council of Western New York, the board members have many skill sets, but there's a few board members that have some special skill sets as it relates to media, to radio, to podcasts, to digital media. And that's the team we put together. Like folks like Shayna Van Dyne, she has that background. Denora Baines, okay? Denora Baines, formerly Santos, Denora Santos. Ed Negron, we needed a numbers guy. Somebody to deal with finances,
We're like, it's like the Ocean's 11, the Hispanic right. Ocean's 11 here.
You're right. And we needed an educator, somebody that had that educational background, that university background, and Justin Reed. So we have Ed Negron, Denora Baines, Shayna Van Dyke, Justin Reed, and myself. We're the core team that supports, you, Lorenzo, and Samantha, and working together with the staff and the engineers here at Buffalo Toronto Public Media, we are bringing the best, the brightest, and the most informative radio programming that our community deserves.
I mean, we can't say it enough. There is an email, Sin Fronteras WNY @gmail.com, and I can't stress it enough that we want to hear from you. We want to hear your stories. We want to hear the things that matter to you, a ustedes, nuestro público. We want to hear what it is that you have to say, because at the end of the day, it's just we're two people, but there's a whole community of us out there. That's with right. So many different viewpoints and sentiments. And one thing I want to stress, because we mentioned and thanked all the people that helped us, Buffalo Toronto Public Media, and the organization that you're a part of, the Hispanic Heritage Council of Western New York, which has also made this project possible. But I can hear the naysayers, I can hear the critics. Oh no, they bought themselves a platform. No. We have created a platform that hopefully we with open arms welcome new content creators, new producers, new voices. We want to hear from those people.
And we want underwriters to
yes.
be able to keep this programming afloat. We got to thank our one of our underwriters, Salino Law.
Absolutely.
So it all comes together. Everyone working in one direction, as a team to bring the best to all our listeners here in Buffalo and in Western New York.
Rising tides raise all ships.
I like that one.
And we hope that we can be that burst of water, that tide that hopefully lifts up. What is the SS?
The USS Sullivan is down at the Navy.
Well, no, I was going to say what would be our Hispanic vessel? It would be the SS Bochinche, the SS Bochinche, or I had a word. One of my favorite words growing up, chusmeria.
Chumeria.
Yeah. The SS Chusmeria. No, in all seriousness, we need the support of the community. We've found that so far. I think we've gotten a good audience, and we hope that it keeps growing and get contributors out of it as well.
That's right.
Now, as far as Chusmeria and bringing together the Hispanic community, right now this show airs live on Saturdays at 10 a.m. here in the Western New York, Buffalo area. There's another big thing going on right now.
August 17th.
August 17th, Saturday. We're doing this on August 17th, right?
That's right.
When we're done here, we're going to walk outside right out to Niagara Square.
A big day for our community.
Why is that, Kaz?
The Puerto Rican and Hispanic Day Parade. A very proud day for our community.
If you listen to episode 2, I had to go back to our very extensive library of episodes. Episode 2, Charlie Torres.
That's right.
This is his baby. That's his baby.
The president of the Puerto Rican Hispanic Day Parade.
It's a festival. It's an organization. It's an event that's been going on strong for something like 15, 20 years. How many?
22 years.
22. Okay.
22 years. They're celebrating their 22nd Puerto Rican Hispanic Day Parade today. And got to thank, the president, Charles Torres, and the vice president, Yolanda Martinez, and the entire board of directors. They worked very hard throughout the entire year to bring this very important day, signature event, a day of pride for our community, where we can wave all the flags, the Puerto Rican flag, all the flags from all the
I got my Cuban flag
Hispanic
in the car.
American countries, and we have our float.
You're going to be out there, yeah. What is the Hispanic Heritage Council going to be doing?
I believe that the organizers, Maritza Vega and members of the board, got together, and I think the float's going to be like a flamboyant. The flamboyant is a signature tree.
Yes.
In Puerto Rico. Beautiful.
Yep.
With red leaves and everything. It's representative from Puerto Rico, and it's going to be a very proud moment, not only for our organization but for our entire community. So, if you got time, our radio listeners, please get out on the Niagara Street corridor, Avenida San Juan, the Hispanic Heritage District.
It goes on almost all day, right?
That's right.
Because after the parade, there's a stage show, there's dancing, there's food,
Square.
There's vendors.
Yeah. And wave your flag. And
you'll be out there with the Hispanic Heritage Council,
yes,
along with our partners at WBFO.
Yeah, they're going to be with us. We're going to be tabling, giving information with the Buffalo Toronto Public Media staff, because another important day that's coming up is September the 14th. And this is right before the kickoff of Hispanic Heritage Month, National Hispanic Heritage Month here locally. And that September 14th event is an event that we're going to celebrate right here at WNED Studios, the Buffalo Toronto Public Media, where we're going to premiere American Historia with John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo's docuseries about Hispano-Americanos here in the United States, the history of us here in America.
That's right. And it's going to be broadcast all throughout the entire country and the world through PBS. And the folks here at Buffalo Toronto Public Media have worked very hard to put together a local documentary on American history.
That's news to me.
So, it was a surprise. I don't know if I should have said that,
right?
but
well,
it's going
cat's
to be
out of the bag now.
It's going to be premiered.
That's awesome.
On September the 14th, and I believe the time span for that event is between 12 and 4 p.m.
Okay. Well, there we go. Once this show, which is about to conclude shortly, get on out there, Niagara Square, Puerto Rican Hispanic Day Parade. You don't want to miss it.
At 12 noon.
12 noon. You'll hear it. You'll hear it if you're in the area, porque la bulla that we make is legendary. And as we wrap up here, I want to specify something, because we have been hearing what you've been saying. Where can I hear this show once it's off the air on Saturdays? Well, we're on demand now. We're on demand on podcast form everywhere you get your podcasts. So we're on Podbean, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube. Look us up, Sin Fronteras, Western New York, and you can definitely find us out there. You can also go to Kaz's Hispanic Heritage Council website. We'll be there as well.
That's right.
On the website.
That's right. And we want to make sure that our listeners and our audience hears, if they can catch us in the morning, they'll catch us in the evening or throughout the week.
Well, we'd like to thank you for catching us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kaz. Thank you for making your Sin Fronteras 2.0.
La Voz del Pueblo.
La Voz del Pueblo. Coming soon.
Thanks, Lorenzo.
Thank you, Kaz. And thank you, folks, for listening. You've been listening to Sin Fronteras, Western New York. I'm Lorenzo Rodriguez, and we'll be here next week. Nos vemos.